Have you had a great story idea and when you actually sat down to write it and you read your first draft, the plot feels flat or thin, or the dreaded version, which I often face that it's too short? Don't worry. You don't need padding. What you need is subplots. That's a secret weapon to add word count, depth, build on your themes, emotion, tension. So what I'm going to do is create a story live as we're going, and then we're going to create subplots to really flesh it out. But what I want you to do is think about your story and your genre, because all of this is very applicable. Let's imagine we have this character named Susan. She's going to her hometown to help sell her father's cabin. Then the father had recently just passed away. She wants in and out and then have a clean break and then get back to her life. So already that's a decent emotional arc. She wants to let go of the past, but there's no real conflict, no pressure. So this is our mistake. We've written it out. So how do we now come back to it and add subplots to make this book fantastic? So think less about the example details and more about how this concept can improve your fiction. All right, so now she's at the cabin. She's trying to get it repaired. So let's bring in a guy named Noah. Let's make him her ex. Let's say he lives next door, and her dad actually disapproved of Noah, which is why she had broken up with him. The key thing here is that we can build subplots to support the main theme. This is about letting go of the past. Now you've introduced a subplot about an ex-boyfriend who comes from her past. So you're actually paralleling that theme, and any learnings or arc that she will go through the story with Noah can actually then help with the main theme and the main plot and actually build on that character development you had in your first draft. So subplots here aren't just side quests, they echo the main character's struggle, and that's what's going to give them emotional power. So what this can add then is a shared history. It can add conversations full of subtext between Noah and Susan. You know, maybe Noah, who's a handyman, helping out around their house for her repairs. And you can build that emotional tension and maybe even some sexual tension too. It just depends on your genre or your book. That's up to you. So let's add in another subplot. So let's say she's clearing out the attic. She finds a box her father hid. Maybe letters from a woman she's never heard of. Maybe a second deed to a new property. And a note addressed to my daughter. But since she has no idea about this, maybe we can imply that it's actually a sister she never knew she had. We can run with it. So you can do tons of great things here. So what we're adding here is a new plot thread. So we're kind of dripping secrets over time. And then maybe an emotional mystery about identity and betrayal. She's trying to let go of the past here and move on. But now she's discovering up this whole new possible emotional turmoil. And the great thing about adding these subplots is that it also reshapes the pacing. It gives the reader a break from, let's say, you're adding that romantic tension between Susan and Noah, and now you add some real depth to it. And you're making the readers curious. You're actually creating a mini mystery here in this subplot in this romantic genre when it never existed before. And it's going to keep the reader turning pages. And it's not going to distract them from the main theme. It's actually going to link up into it. So it's a great way to do it. Doesn't mean that the characters are going to succeed at every subplot. Some of these they can fail. But what you want to show to the reader that the character is either growing or not based on who that character is and the importance of their growth or not in the story. And subplots to some degree are like pressure valves. They can let the tension out or build it up in another way. So when you return to the main arc, it hits that much harder. So now we've already created a couple subplots. Let's build on that. And let's say the sister does show up. That's a whole new subplot on its own. So just when Susan's got the house ready and ready to list it, her sister comes in. So adding in this type of subplot, and again, I'm summarizing this isn't the writing I would put in the book, but I'm just doing it to flesh out ideas. And I want you to think about your book and your characters and how you can come up with ideas like this. Now, adding in the sister produces a foil character. You know, it's certainly going to be a clash, a values clash. So freedom versus duty for the main character. And it may derail the main plot entirely. Now, will she actually sell the house or not? Can she sell the house? And now there's a sister dynamic. And is there any connection there with Noah, the handyman next door, and how that would impact that relationship? Now we're starting to care about Susan. We've added a lot more depth, and the readers are going to care about what choices she makes here. And we're not getting away from that main theme of letting go of the past. We're just adding more layers to that. So there's lots of ideas you can add into your story depending on what your main theme is, who your characters are, and what you're trying to flesh out. So if you want to build a subplot in your story, choose a supporting character, someone who matters to your protagonist, and then think about how we can build a subplot around them. Give that side character a goal, and ideally it mirrors or opposes the protagonist's goal, so the main theme. Map 3 moments where the subplot develops. So go for a start, then there's a conflict, and then maybe an emotional consequence. And it doesn't have to be a resolution. And done right, each of these subplots can add 5 to 10,000 words to your story. And that not only makes your story bigger and something that agents actually will care about and can actually publish, it actually makes readers more engaged and the story more richer for it. When your story is flat or you feel it's missing certain things, subplots are the way to go. They can echo the main theme, so keep your story emotionally focused and unified. They help with pacing, so they give readers tension breaks, or even they add in those mini cliffhangers to the story, which can actually pull them along and keep them interested. They can stay messy. We don't have to resolve them all, especially if this is a series. You can introduce something in this book and then resolve it in later books. And then also try to limit the number of subplots. We don't want to overuse this technique, but we want to use it with purpose. And as long as we're sticking to the main narrative and keeping that overarching theme or themes is going to be stronger for it. And also great subplots are those that actually test the main character, puts them under stress and pressure, and then fleshes out new aspects of who they are. And whether they succeed or fail in that subplot is fine, but does that character grow or not? And you will need to decide what's the best part of your story. Should they fail and then that take that learning and help with the main plot, or should they succeed and it influences their choices later? That's your decision. You have a lot of opportunities here, so play with it. If you find your book is too short, please do not pad it. Do not try to just extend out scenes. Add layering and depth with purpose. Use subplots to force decisions, to reveal character, to stretch tension across your story. Subplots aren't optional. They're actually your secret weapon in building out a very full novel that agents, publishers, and readers would love to read. Now, if this has given you any ideas and you thought of a subplot for your story, feel free to mention in the comments. I think viewers will actually love to hear from you and learn from your examples. And if you happen to like this video, click like and subscribe. Happy writing.